Just a quick intro to the National Motorist Association. You've heard most of it already. The National Motorist Association was founded in 1982 to fight the 55-mile-an-hour national speed limit. We're the only national driver's rights organization fighting the authoritarian policies designed to impair our ability to use our personal automobiles. So the types of things that we fight against are unreasonable speed limits, automated ticketing, road diets and complete streets, removal of auto lanes in favor of bike lanes and bus lanes, eliminating right turn on red, eliminating parking, speed limiters, Vision Zero, which we'll talk about more of, mileage taxes, kill switches in our vehicles, electric vehicle mandates, and 15-minute cities. I'll get into some of the details on some of these in just a bit. I will tell you that I don't know how many people have lived in California or a place like California, but you have no idea how bad it is until you live under that. So the first thing to know is that their goal is to make driving your personal vehicle as slow, difficult, annoying, and costly as possible. If you wish to live a middle-class lifestyle, like I would assume most of the people in this room, with a single-family home or something like that in suburbia, you are the enemy. There's an organization called the War on Cars, so it's an actual organization to wage the war on cars, and there's some stickers and things that they give out people, and you'll see these stickers. I haven't seen any here, but there are, they're in California, and these groups go out and they put these little stickers all over saying that ban cars, and cars ruin cities, and cars ruin lives. There's also a lot of talk about road diets. As I mentioned before, they're now changing the language, so they're not calling them road diets anymore, they're calling them roadway configurations. Sounds nice, right? It's a roadway configuration, or roadway improvement. They're taking away car lanes. When you hear that, they're taking away car lanes. And they're putting in bike lanes, they're putting in bus lanes that nobody will ever use. And it's also sometimes called complete streets, so that's another part of the jargon. The new thing is they want to eliminate right turn on red. We haven't talked about this yet. So for those of you who live in a western state for most of your life, you have always experienced right turn on red. It didn't happen for us where I grew up in New Jersey until the 70s, but we're all used to being able to turn right on red. Well, they want to eliminate this. Now why? Why do they want to eliminate this? Well, they say it's more dangerous for pedestrians and bicyclists. Of course it's not. We've done the studies and it's not true. However, the idea is to make you sit and idle at a traffic light and get you frustrated so you get out of your car, and you'll hear that term a lot as well when they talk about these policies. They want to eliminate parking. Again, the city of Phoenix just eliminated certain parking minimums for condensed area of the cities, in the idea that, oh, well, if we don't give them a place to park, they won't have cars. Of course, people still have to get around, so they're going to have cars. It just externalizes the cost and the difficulty of parking to the neighborhood, and it also gives the developers a big bonus because then they don't have to pay to build the parking. In Los Angeles, they did a study when they did a road diet on a particular roadway, Venice Boulevard. And so before they put in the road diet, the response times were about 4 minutes and 30 seconds on average. And after they put in the road diet, it went up by a minute, 5 minutes and 31 seconds. Now, for those of you who've ever worked or know anything about emergency services, every second counts. And if you're having a heart attack, that minute can mean the difference between life and death. So these are actually policies that are killing people. Just some other examples of this. There was a fire in Santa Clarita, California, right outside of LA. It was called the Saddle Ridge Fire. This headline says, Saddle Ridge Fire snarls traffic, causing drivers to get stuck in a parking lot-like conditions overnight. So as they're trying to get away from a wildfire. Here's another wildfire saying that called the Latuna Canyon Fire, and LA's road diet put Latuna Canyon Fire evacuees at risk. It was a mess, according to somebody that was interviewed by this. But the most famous one, you may or may not have heard about this, but it was certainly on the news all over the country, and especially in California, was Paradise, California. Paradise, California was a mountain town, and in the mid-2000s, they had a wildfire. After that wildfire, there was a report, and the report said, we don't have clear enough evacuation routes to get out of the city if we have a bigger wildfire and a faster moving wildfire. So we need to improve emergency evacuation from this city. So the people who controlled Paradise, which has everything in California is controlled by Democrats, they, instead of doing what they were recommended to do, they did exactly the opposite. And what they did was they did a road diet on the roadway, the main roadway going through the center of town. And then there was another wildfire, a faster moving wildfire, and 80 people burned to death. So this is not a game. People's lives are being lost by some of these policies. And what they will tell you is, oh, we're going to do a road diet and the roadway will be safer. But what they won't take into account is all the other negative consequences that happen from that. Now, it's not saying that the roadway really will be safer. You know, if somebody might be there and there might be a crash or an accident, that maybe there might be a little better chance that that person will survive if they get hit by a car. However, all of the other first of all, that may not ever happen on that roadway, but what about all the other lives that are being lost because of reduced response times, or in places like Paradise where there's a wildfire and people can't get out, people can't get away? And let's just say, you know, you have to get to the hospital. What about somebody who is having a baby and they can't get to the hospital, the ambulance? You know, a lot of us live in sort of rural areas, so people jump in their cars and they go to the hospital. They don't wait for the ambulance to show up. Now, you've heard probably about 15-minute cities. 15-minute cities are the idea that you will be able to get everything you want within 15 minutes of a walk or a bike ride. So imagine what that will look like when they impose that here. And believe me, it's coming here. But when you talk about that, the woke crowd, who controls a lot of the media, will call you a crazy conspiracy theorist. This one went a little bit further. Conspiracy weirdos target 15-minute cities with fossil fuel talking points. Oh, fossil fuels, oh my God. You were talking about fossil fuels. And then there's something called 20 is plenty. So 20 is plenty is this idea that vehicles need not go any faster than 20 miles an hour. You're laughing, but it's a real thing. And they believe that 20 is plenty enough for you to travel. Not for them, but for you to travel. And this has taken place all across Europe as well, but unfortunately, cities here in the United States. This is a slide that is Portland, Oregon's 20 is plenty policies, and they have limited their streets in their city to 20 miles an hour. So you laugh, but it's actually happening. And it sounds crazy, but if you think about what I said up front, which is the goal is to make driving as difficult and as miserable, as expensive as possible, all of these policies make perfect sense if you filter it through that lens. This is just a quote from X. 4 years ago, Portland, Oregon reduced the speed limit on residential streets to 20 miles per hour, and driver behavior barely budged. Imagine that. People are not going to comply with a ridiculous law. So, but just to say that doesn't work. I'm sorry that you can't see this too well. This is a map of Canterbury in Europe, and what they've done here is, if you can make this out a little bit, it's the city. They've broken it up into regions and sections, and there's restrictions on going from one section to the other section of the city by car. So if you do want to go there by car, you have to drive all the way out to this outer ring and then drive into the other section. So you'll be penalized or taxed or ticketed if you try to go from your area to the forbidden area, the forbidden zone next door. And by the way, this is a plan for Scottsdale. Scottsdale is already talking about implementing some version of this. I'm sure the folks in Phoenix are doing the same thing. And so this is not just some crazy idea in Europe. It's a crazy idea here too. Just some headlines to tell you that this really is a war against cars. Here's an opinion piece from the New York Times. The title is "Cars Are Death Machines. Self-Driving Tech Won't Change That." Here's another article. "Cars are killing us. Within 10 years, we must phase them out." The city of Phoenix just did this. They lowered speed limits on some roadways to 30 miles per hour. When the prevailing speed of the roadway, as measured by what we call the 85th percentile speed, was 48 miles an hour. So as you can see, it's really just lowering the bar to enforcement. Nobody's really going to comply with that. It's just a fantasy, but they hate cars and they hate you driving around. So let's just put a lower speed limit so everybody who drives on that roadway gets a ticket. Obviously, automated ticketing, you're all familiar with red light cameras and speed cameras. There's also bus cameras. There's stop sign cameras in cities. You know, everything that they can do to catch every little minor violation. And the fact of the matter is, yes, there are some bad drivers out there. They need to be caught by the police. They need to be ticketed. And in some cases, their driving privileges need to be taken away. However, the vast majority of people that are caught by these automated systems are people who are doing some sort of minor violation that all of us do, like a slow rolling turn or a slow roll past the stop sign, nobody around, or a fraction of a second red violation that you can't even perceive with the naked eye. These are all tickets that a police officer, if they were present, would never issue a ticket for. But the automated camera is there watching you 24/7, waiting for you to step out of line to give you a ticket for driving your car. A lot of these policies are under this umbrella of something called Vision Zero. Again, it's this fantasy that no one will ever die in a traffic accident ever again. Of course, they say traffic violence. But the idea is no one will ever die again. Again, it's this idea of perfection of the world, and and think about how much control there would have to be over the system, over the people within that, operating within that system, to never have another vehicle death ever on the road. Now, of course, for pedestrians and bicyclists, half of those deaths are caused by something that the pedestrian or bicyclist did. However, the car driver is always blamed for it. So when they talk about Vision Zero, it's about eliminating your ability to move your car, because they want to make sure that even if the pedestrian or the bicyclist does something wrong, that nothing bad happens to them as well. So there's, again, this lack of personal responsibility, which you'll hear. So the question is, what can you do? And I'll just throw out a couple of ideas. One is, be aware. Look for these policies everywhere. They may sound nice, but understand the underlying thing is that they want to control your life. They want to tell you how to live your life. Don't support these policies when they're proposed. Get involved, take action. I can talk for just a moment about how to do that. Vote for those who oppose these policies. Sign up for alerts. Our organization, there's other organizations in Arizona that are doing a great job on this. But I have a sign-up sheet over here. I'll pass it around. If anybody wants to sign up, we keep your information private, and we'll send you alerts about these types of things and what's going on, both here in Arizona specifically, and also around the country, so you know what's happening. And then, of course, you could always join the National Motorist Association if you're so inclined. I'll give a 30-second commercial for the National Motorist Association. You get a whole bunch of benefits. You get email news and alerts. You get a network of state advocates working on your behalf, advocacy tools, an alert app, our Driving Freedoms magazine that comes out every quarter, which gives you a lot of really good information. That's a physical magazine. You have access to our experts. You have special discounts on things. We give you an ebook if you need to fight a ticket. There's also something called the Traffic Justice Program. I can tell people about that if they're interested. The membership to the National Motorist Association is extremely low. It's only $42 a year, and it's very cheap compared to all of these policies that will be imposed upon you if they actually are implemented. 2 years is $78 with a little bit of a discount, and 3 years is $112. Again, I went out to dinner. My mom was in town last week, and we went out to dinner at not a particularly expensive restaurant, and the meal was $112. Thank you, Joe Biden. So for 3 years of the National Motorist Association, it'd be less than an actual dinner. Remember, we're the voice of reason for driving freedoms. And I don't know if we have time for questions. I'm happy to answer either now or whenever. My name, my information, that's my cell phone number. Please feel free to call, email.